2, 1.
What up, guys? It's here we are at Rooster Teeth Productions, the home of Red vs. Blue. We've got the crew behind me who has actually just busted their asses for the last 8 months making season 10 one of the best seasons that you guys, I think, have ever seen. So today, before we see episode 14, I wanted to introduce one by one and tell you a little bit what they did and give you kind of the background and have you guys have an opportunity to ask any questions. We've got Barbara, we've got Kara over here they're going to help us out if you have something that's really, that's a good question, not like, those other questions you guys ask about how big everybody's dicks are or whatever. So anyways, but first person up we have is Dustin. Dustin is one of our animators. Dustin is actually the lead in Theta's animation. And what was the inspiration behind the skateboard?
I don't know. I guess it just kind of came out of we wanted him to be doing something cute.
Cute is good,
and,
but then also
we had been skateboarding a lot, so we found a way to throw that in there. And
so how did you do it though? Were you on your skateboard when you did the capturing?
Yeah.
So Dustin does motion capture, much like Monty, who's back there, probably still creating for a season 10 as we speak, even though it's supposed to be done. So that's all motion capture. So give us a little rundown on what that means.
What motion capture means?
Well, I mean, how you did it with the skateboard.
Oh, I still just put on the mocap suit and then got my skateboard and just did my thing in the mocap area or whatever. Then once we got it into the computer or wherever, we had to make a skateboard. And then so all that had to be reanimated because we can't capture like the skateboard.
Right.
So that just has to be like added in.
So you had to animate that with your movements.
Right.
Okay. So I'm curious, you guys, how many of you liked Theta and liked the fact that he was on a skateboard? I personally thought it was the cutest thing, but I would love to hear your feedback on that. So what was kind of the highlight working here? Because I know they all want to know what's the highlight of working at Rooster Teeth.
Everyone loved it.
Yeah, everything was, I mean, I don't know, it's definitely the coolest place I've ever worked. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we had this great boss here.
I paid
But,
him.
I don't know, we just had a lot of fun like, all the time. I mean, we had a lot of work to do, but everyone got along and we just had a lot of fun.
Give these guys a little insight to how long, what were your hours like?
I averaged, like, at least 80.
All the hours.
80 hours, that's
There
a
was-
week,
there
friends,
was-
that's a week.
Several weeks where it was over 100,
Yeah.
for sure.
And why did he do that? So that
Because I love the thing.
That's right, exactly. So, okay, well, I'll tell you what, we're gonna cycle around, and if you guys have questions for any of these guys, we're gonna try to keep tabs and we'll come back. But thank you, Dustin, and up next, let's, what do we got here? Austin. We'll stick with the Austin, the Dustin of the world, with his pink hair.
The Pink Warrior.
The Pink Warrior. This is Austin. All right. Feeding his face, but that's okay. Okay, I'll give him a background. Austin started with us, basically, not so much as an intern, not a paid intern, but he came on board and he was going to be the assistant helping with Monty's animation. With our pipeline, we had to take Monty's animation and we had to import that into Maya, and there was a lot of conversions. And so Austin learned the process. All right, guys. Not until after I finish introducing everybody, all right? Then you can have your fun. So I dealt with this all for 8 months, like, being shot. But anyways, so Austin had to learn a lot of different software packages.
Yeah.
And give them an idea, if you can kind of circle around here so they can kind of see your lovely face and your pink hair.
Everyone loves the pink hair.
Yes, we like
Lightish red.
Good, yes, okay.
Everybody's same.
But kind of explain to them, like, what was it, coming in, what you thought you were expected to do, and then what you wound up doing. Project over here.
Technically, as far as you said in the interview, I was supposed to work directly with Monty.
That's right.
And then that didn't happen. What, you put me on 123D, you put me on Max, you put me on Maya, you put me on After Effects, you put me on Poser, you put me on Carrera. Yeah, you just would like take me and you'd go, okay, now you're doing this. Okay, good 2 weeks. Okay, now you're doing this. It was just like a firefighting.
And you know why I did that is because every time I gave him something, he would accomplish it and he'd do it very well. So now what do you have? You have this amazing resume of things and knowledge of what you can do. Pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Highlight though. But then you also animated.
Yes, that did happen.
Highlights.
Highlights.
Tell us your highlights.
Highlights?
Yeah.
Pink.
Being working at
Okay,
Rooster
no,
Teeth because they want to know.
No, because I've worked really hard on. Anyway.
Not on your hair, but
No,
on, you know.
it's-
People.
To make it-
Question for Austin.
Yeah.
What?
Question.
Question for Austin. Why exactly do you have lightish pink, lightish
Oh,
red
okay.
hair?
That's what they
Ask
want.
them why they don't have lightish.
I tried blue and it looked like just absolute trash, and then I tried green, it looked absolute trash, and the pink just works so well with my eyes. I mean, honestly, I just hypnotized myself.
It does. It makes his eyes pop. The blue. It's really nice.
I'm beautiful.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Everything.
In every single way.
Highlights?
But highlights. Let's find out what it is like. What's it like working for Rooster Teeth?
I don't know. I remember in the interview process when I was waiting for the interview, and I had never actually seen any of your faces before. I'd only heard it, and so I'm just hearing Bernie's voice, and so I'm hearing Church, and then I'm hearing Jeff's voice, and then I'm hearing Matt's voice, and I'm just like, what is going on? Because I can hear all the characters, and I've never seen their faces ever before.
So you're really disappointed.
No, it was really freaking me out.
Well, good. No, but it's fun, right?
Yeah.
And they're all
No,
nice
it was,
people.
No, it was amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
No. It was amazing. It was like I was just like freaking out because it's like there's Simmons. Simmons is right behind me. I can hear him. He's complaining about something something to do with the servers. Oh God, this is weird. No, it was amazing.
Well, good. All right. Well, Austin was, I think, probably. What do they have in sports? You have the person the word for who's come the furthest, and I think that you've actually grown the furthest from where we started and where we ended. I think yeah, most improved. Thank you. Yeah, most improved. So thank you, Austin. Everybody, if you have questions for him, let us know and we'll come back. But let's see who's up next. I'm thinking maybe. Okay, yeah, Brad. Let's bring Brad up. Brad. Brad Washoe.
I'm gonna take your chair.
Brad is somebody who came to us late in the game. We met him at RTX, and as we had to augment our animation team at the very end to make sure we hit our deadlines, Brad was kind enough to move from, where did you move from?
Louisiana. Ponchatoula.
Yeah.
Holler at all my friends and family back in Louisiana and my animation family at Tampa, Florida.
There you go. And so we were able to get him to come and join us. He fit in right away. Took on some of the facial animation and also some text animation. Tell me, who did you animate? You didn't animate text. I think Dustin animated.
A little bit of text,
A
a little bit of Carolina. Most of the freelancers. I got a crack at everybody.
Okay.
Maybe killed off a few people.
Yeah.
It just all in a day's work.
All in a day's work. What was? Give me an idea of like a highlight when you first came over. Your first impression of the studio and then the people.
First impression came as, oh my gosh, Rooster Teeth. I couldn't believe in my 50-year career. My 50-year career that I would be working here with a big talented group of, artists, Monty, all the voice actors. Of course, we got Tex. I mean, even though the environment is simple yet awesome, everybody here is very professional in what they do. And I couldn't think of a better cast, a better crew to work with in my entire career. This has been the highlight of my career thus far as an animator.
Well, we enjoyed you. I mean, you were great. You really gave a lot to our team in animation. And then at the end, some of these guys, including Dustin, had an opportunity to do compositing. And that's what's so great. And you guys out there that are thinking about being in industry, if you can wear you can wear different hats, you're going to do a lot better. So we had these guys come on board as animators, and then some of them were texture artists and modelers, and then they went into the compositing side, and it just makes you more valuable and more utilized. And so that's something, all you people out there that are wanting to get into this industry, do your research and, really understand.
Never ever stop learning.
Right.
Even I was told that sometimes that you just stick with one thing and that's what you're going to do for the rest of your life. But always keep learning, no matter what. Not just animation, but learn it all.
Yeah.
Ask questions. Always be humble.
Yeah.
Always keep absorbing more information. There's the day I stop learning is the day I probably quit. So.
That's right. And as a producer, that's exactly the kind of people that you want to hire, because that's what's important. You want people that just want to go out and learn and just be better.
150%.
Well, thank you, Brad. If you guys have
problem
questions
at
for
all.
Brad, I feel like we're in. Yeah.
For Brad, what was the most difficult thing that you created for Rooster Teeth?
What was the most difficult thing that you created?
The most difficult thing I created? Well, that's very interesting because as an animator, you're always getting new assignments. You're always doing things that you probably never thought that you would get the opportunity to do before. The most difficult thing, maybe here that I've created, is I don't know, maybe more the emotion, the characters, because 98% of the time, or maybe 90, all our characters have helmet, and we're actually, you know, utilizing our language through their body language. But when it comes to facial animation, just the subtle moments, and you're gonna know what I'm talking about later on. You gotta watch the later episodes, and trust me, nobody out there is more excited to watch these episodes than me. Coming together. Yeah, no spoilers. But the subtle, quiet moments, the eyes of the characters, which they're gonna come up a few times. You know, reading the eyes is probably the most difficult thing to do in animation. So I'd say that would probably be my most challenging assignment that I've taken on yet. But I think I've fared pretty well with the deadlines.
Cool.
And of course, you've got the best producer to work for, and one of the best directors, Matt. All the other guys, Bernie, it's just totally phenomenal. But yeah, I think the subtle animation moments in the eyes and some of the scenes is probably the biggest challenge, which was fun, but also challenging.
Yeah, I think this year that was one of the highlights, is for us to actually give character outside of the helmets, outside of the armor, for, you know, like York and for North and, you know, Carolina, for all these different characters, and actually finally get to see some type of acting and, you know, feeling. So I think that was a big plus for the animators to be able to do that.
Awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank
No
you for
problem.
that. All
Thank you so
right.
much. Just one more shout out to my girlfriend in Colombia, El amor de mi vida, Catherine.
Aw.
Te quiero, baby.
Oh, te quiero. We love that.
Yay.
Christopher's up next. Christopher came to us last year. He helped us out with the end of season 9, and Matt talked to me about him when we were again augmenting our team for animation, and he's been a pleasure to work with. He's also helped with the facial animation, and he rides a motorcycle, which is really cool. So,
That's
but
the only reason we hired him.
that's all it is, yeah, because he was, and
I was just driving by and
exactly, we're like, hey, that guy, we want him now, here, yes. So some of the highlights, I mean, you worked, what's like differences from last year to this year? Can you give us some differences or?
I guess just the size of the team and the scope of the project. You know, like last year there was I guess just 3 or 4 of us at once, and now this year there's like 12, 14 people just in animation, and so yeah, that was a big difference.
Nice. And then, so some of the stuff that you worked on you worked on some pretty cool sequences, if I remember. So like highlights for you that you can think of without giving spoilers.
Without giving spoilers.
Oh, that's always hard, yeah.
Yeah. I did feel like working with Maine and Carolina, they're both like really dynamic characters. The director as well. It's always kind of fun to hide his face
Yeah.
and put the shots together like that. That's what I really enjoy, that sort of challenge.
And something that I really liked about Christopher is he really had a chance, when he would get a sequence, he would map it out and he would chart it out or storyboard it out and get it to where it was really made sense before he would show it to Matt or to me. So he's got a really good background. I mean, animation, it's something that's important, you guys. I know a lot of people ask me this question. It's like, what do you need to have? What's the kind of schooling do you want to have? And it's like traditional animation, 3D animation. But Christopher really showed that kind of span of knowledge. That you were able to like set up the sequences and make it so that it all made sense with the story. I think that's really important. So, any other like, what do you think? What's the dirt for the team behind us? Like, any good dirt that you can?
Any good dirt?
That you can tell these
There's
guys?
too much
about?
dirt. I could go on forever.
Everyone wants to know what kind of motorcycle.
Oh, there you go.
I just got a new one. It's a Yamaha V-Star 650.
And it's black, so cool.
Black. It's pretty cool.
It's like text.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's really cool. Awesome. If you guys, what's that? Yeah,
What animation programs do you use?
That is here. Maya here, and a little bit of After Effects, and also 3D Studio Max,
Poser.
Poser.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't, but of course Monty. I always have to give a shout out.
More last year.
Okay. Yeah.
More last season.
Well, cool. Well, thank you. And if you guys have questions, again, let us know. Barbara and Kara are writing questions down, and we'll get to another artist. And let me just have time to hit animation, but now we'll hit all the animations. So now Ryan. Okay, you got. So I think you guys know Ryan from Achievement Hunters. But in the beginning, when we first started on Red vs. Blue 10, and we were going to get 10% of Ryan's time. And so,
That
you know,
worked out, yeah.
and I have to be honest, when he first came in, I think he was a little like apprehensive, thinking we're never going to get this done, Kath, I don't know what you're talking about. But I kept saying, you have to have faith, you have to have faith. And then it turned around to where I was going to Jeff saying, Jeff, can we have Ryan for 90% of the time, and you can have him for 10%. And Ryan has been a gem. He's a technical director, he's an animator, he's a modeler. I mean, he knows the whole pipeline inside and out. And that's what made him so valuable with our team, because any kind of problems we would have, Ryan would sit and be able to help us out. And he was also working from home because you have a family. So give a little insight to these guys of what you did in this process.
I was kind of the MacGyver, I guess. I'm sort of the Mr. Fix-It of one of these guys going, Dustin going, hey, Ryan, is its arm supposed to be coming out of its head? No. So yeah, I kind of patched things together and kept it running, and then did a lot of rendering and not sleeping.
And yes, right, and not sleeping. And rendering is a big part. I mean, people don't really understand what that is, but I mean, Ryan would be up at night at his house, and he'd be watching the render farm, making sure there weren't errors in what we were doing.
Hand drawing every frame.
Yeah, basically. Exactly. Thousands and thousands of drawings.
Pixel at a time.
But how did you juggle Achievement Hunter and Red vs. Blue? How did you do that?
Eventually, I think you just kind of beat Jeff into submission. He just gave up. I was like, I'm just not going to get him back for a while. So game fails, I still ran in the background. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of juggling. It was a lot of Red versus Blue.
Yeah, towards the end, it was very much so. What highlights? What would you say? What are some things that you just kind of look and go, wow, that wasn't
Working with these guys, honestly, this is a really incredible team of people that we put together. I don't think we could have gotten any luckier with a bunch of people that could have worked together at this kind of level, at this kind of time frame, and delivered what we did. We really lucked out there. So my highlight for me is these guys.
Yeah, and you know, I have to put things in perspective. In feature animation, when you see a Pixar movie and it's maybe 75 minutes long, that they can work on that for about 4 years. We did about, well, the whole thing is about 2 hours, 40 minutes.
What, 120 minutes?
About 120 minutes of animation, and this was done in 6 months. So that is, I mean, that's crazy and unheard of, and I'm sure that any big studio would love for us to be in charge of their work, because we were on time and we did it efficiently and so but largely to you to helping and getting the pipeline and streamlining. So
I just kept running around hitting things with hammers. That was pretty much my job.
Yeah, he did. He'd come up in the beginning. He came up with this very serious face to me all the time, like, I don't think it's not gonna happen. And then towards the end, he's like, oh my God, we're gonna do it. It's all working out.
It's
all
called cautious
Yes,
optimism. You gotta ease into it. I have to do this
I
so
had
you don't be
faith.
like, let's have the moon.
That's right. No, I always have faith. But anyway, so question?
A lot of people are wondering what you guys do in your downtime while you're waiting for something to render.
Oh, when you're waiting.
Downtime.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Actually.
downtime.
While you're
Oh, Miles, where's Miles? Miles, he's still working. We're gonna get him down here, but he was sleeping a couple minutes ago because he says, "Oh, I'm rendering." So one
No,
thing they sleep.
when things are rendering, I'm setting up other renders. So the downtime is really not much to speak of. It's asleep or doing other renders.
And so some of you guys know in animation with different environments, it has to be lit before it actually goes to render. And so sometimes that would take a lot more time than actually getting the whole render thing going. So
Yeah, I wish it was as easy as just hit go, but
Yeah.
it's usually not.
a lot of people.
What was your favorite episode to work on?
Favorite episode to work on? I think going back to the very beginning, the teaser we did for PAX, which then became episode
yeah.
8. That was a lot of fun.
Brian, where you going?
Partially because we were figuring out a lot of stuff.
Huh? Well, I want to
You don't
interview
have to
before you
work.
work. You'll be up next then.
You don't have
Okay.
a job, sit down.
Okay.
That shot was a lot of fun just because, well, A, you've got Maine kicking ass all over the place, and B, we were still figuring out so many things that we had a lot of really crazy stuff that happened in that episode. I mean, characters that came out all malformed.
And you'll
they were-
see that in the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, it's
teaser,
pretty funny.
yeah. Watch the DVD, extras.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
So yeah, that was, I think, the most fun because there was a lot of action, a lot of comedic stuff for us, just because it was broken in interesting ways.
Oh, I got a good question for you. Did you partake in any of the Easter eggs? Did you have any ideas for some of the behind the scenes?
I helped set them up, but I
Okay.
think mainly the comp guys were the main force
Oh,
behind
okay.
these.
Well, we'll have them
Destin.
talk about it then. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Easter egg stuff's pretty cool. So, all
Yeah.
right. Well,
One of
thank
the
you,
big
Ryan.
questions we saw pop up several times was how long
How
does
long?
it take to render
Uh,
an entire episode of Red vs. Blue?
An entire episode.
How about a frame? Let's talk first.
Yeah, we'll
first
start
starting.
small.
One frame.
So the question is, how long does it take to render an episode of Red vs. Blue? So any given episode, we're looking at maybe 5-6 minutes of full CG. For our timeline, I had to keep our render budget down to something like 10 to 15 minutes per frame. So 30 frames per second, 5 minutes. Somebody that's been asleep more to do some math. We were able, by the end of it, Carrie says it was 2 maths long. We could do it in a week. We could turn around 5 minutes in a week
In a
worth
week.
of rendering.
Remember in the beginning was what, 40 minutes a frame?
No, we never got that high.
Oh, wasn't that high?
No, it was, our cap was always no more than 20 to 30 minutes a frame,
Okay.
which we did hit sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are rendering full HD, reflections, mental ray, so yeah, it could get pretty long.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we have a lot of computers to do it.
Yes. Thank you, Adam, for those computers.
He's always looking for extra horsepower.
Yes, and I became
That's
the
true.
bane of the office because we actually are using pretty much every machine in the building to render. So it would be my job to go around and knocking on doors saying, "Sorry, can you turn that back on? I need to abuse your machine."
As soon as everybody left, Brian would go around and get the machines rendered.
Even when they have it.
I'd be like, Ryan, my machine's running really slow. Sorry.
I got to be the most hated person in the office for that very reason. Party foul.
Is it yours?
It's fine, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I want to get Brian up here. Thank you, Ryan. This is Brian. Brian's our art director and merchandising, and who has been extremely helpful in season 10. All the amazing monitor work, all the amazing. Actually, you should tell everybody. I mean, Brian has done a lot of the visual effects and placement of different types of. There he goes. Artwork for RVB 10. Aside from doing all of the merchandise, all that cool merchandise that you guys see, all the new shirts and the glasses and the backpacks. So this guy's been living here with the rest of the team. But tell him a couple things. I guess things that we can talk about without spoiling. That you like the hardest stuff that you've been working on for RVB 10.
Well, the classroom came out. I mean, there's a lot of work in the classroom. So, like she said, I handle a lot of the computer screens and the other stuff, and I apologize in advance. I have very little sleep, so I'm not coherent at all. But yeah, I've been responsible for. The classroom was kind of fun. The interesting thing was figuring out just what the computer. Last season we saw the leaderboard.
Right.
And we had a look for how the leaderboard looked.
Yeah.
But if you go into the Halo games, you don't always see the computer interface. There's several static screens that pop up often, and none of them have any interaction. So there was a kind of long process of researching what future sci-fi interfaces look like.
Sure.
It's like whether it's Minority Report or Star Trek, or what does it look like, and how does that apply to both the Halo world and the RVB world, which is separate from the Halo world. It was a kind of interesting project and process, and not one that I really think about all the time. Because designing a T-shirt and designing a computer interface
Way
are two
different, right?
very different problems to wrap your head around.
Process for doing the merchandise. Tell us what that process is compared to what your process is for the show.
Yeah, some of it's just there's a lot of kind of riffing and thinking, and it's like that would be a stupid idea, and oftentimes if it's stupid enough,
Jack's beard on a shirt. Yes.
Yeah, it's just like that would be.
That's brilliant, but it's stupid. But it's brilliant.
So stupid. Yeah, really. If it elicits that's so stupid, then you know that
It's
you're
gonna
kind of
be
headed in the right direction.
Right.
That's not how it works with computer stuff.
Right.
It's just it has to look cool.
Yeah.
It has to be functional, and it has to be doable.
Right.
There's some stuff coming up that was super involved and took a lot of time to kind of hook everything together so that we could integrate. One of the characters is interacting with this display, and there's a lot of hand gestures, and the hand gestures were animated before I was there.
That's right. Yeah.
And so then you have to figure out how to make everything move.
Is that tonight's episode?
No, I think
okay.
it's a couple
Oh,
episodes from now.
Okay.
But you have to make everything move in the right way, and it's not necessarily rigged to do that.
Right.
So
Yeah, I saw the end result. It's fantastic.
it looks
Yeah,
pretty
you
cool.
did a great
I can't
job.
wait for people to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Someday.
Yeah. Question, Barbara?
Yeah, were there any product ideas that didn't make the cut?
Oh gosh, so I've got a huge stack of index cards that we kind of just keep. I'll write an idea down, and every so often in a design meeting we'll throw them out and kind of talk about them. And there are lots of really awful ideas.
I think the highlight was the condoms. It was a red and blue, and it said the whole name. The blood gulch. It was extended or something. I'm not sure.
Something like that.
The staff guys are spit.
Yeah, the staff got this.
Another question. People ask how long it takes to finish one shirt once you get the idea to when it's out.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Why don't I repeat that question?
Yeah. How long does it take from an idea for a merchandise shirt to actually from the start and then actually to get it up out in the store?
It really depends. You know, the biggest part of it is after the design.
Yeah.
There's
All the approval
you gotta
process.
you gotta get it approved. So anything that we create that has anything to do with red versus blue, we have to send to Microsoft for approval. And then sometimes we have changes that we need to make and bounce back and forth. And that can take a week to a couple weeks.
Yes, right.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it's a couple days. But then after that, it gets sent off to the printer. And the printer that we work with, because they also host our distribution and all, basically our warehouse, sometimes it can take a while to get into their queue. And so, you know, sometimes it's fast.
Right.
Other times it's
I think it depends on the complexity a lot of times. I mean, even right,
Yeah.
after we have approval. So
it's usually 4 to 6 weeks
Yeah.
from initial idea to it actually hitting the store.
and we have a lot of great stuff coming up. And then the rest of the year, there's a lot of great merchandise that I know that's on the calendar that you guys have to look
Yeah.
forward to. Just so you know.
There is some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
So it didn't show up very well in the early part of the season, but if you freeze frame in the fight where they're breaking into the rebel base,
Yes.
you can see that there's a logo on the Pelican, and it's this kind of badass looking skull with these death wings on
Oh
it.
yes, that's one of my favorites.
There's a really cool freelancer hoodie coming out in
Yes.
a couple months.
And that's going to be really exciting. But as far as like, we've got the Mother Invention shirt,
Mhm.
and that was because we had that one episode that you guys saw. Look, they're going to be throwing stuff at us. But that's an amazing shirt. I love that shirt. And it's the gray, it's the men. Got another question? I can see it. What is it?
Halfway through.
Oh, okay. I don't have my glasses on. Okay. And I'm trying to think of what else that we created because of RBB10. We did the Mother Invention shirt and then of course the
Stuff we can't
freelancer.
talk about.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Okay.
that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot. So you guys stay tuned. I'm gonna have Brian go back up. He's got to finish all our credits, all our stuff for RBB10, and but he does amazing work for us. And so any questions you guys have, send him his way, or
Yeah, just-
let us know, and he'll be back to answer them.
I try to answer everything on the site, and you can always reach me at Flabby Iron Man on Twitter.
There
So,
you go. All
anyway,
right.
see
Thanks,
everybody.
Brian. Thank you. All right. I would like to have. Well, you know what? 2.0. Get over here. 2.0. Let's get you up here.
2.0.
This is Joe 2.0. Now we had a Joe Vintage that we like to
Vintage
call
Joe.
him. Vintage Joe was actually he started with us and Ryan when we first started the pipeline back in February, and he was recruited by another. Boy, you smell good. He was recruited by another
Thanks.
company in Dallas, and but you know what? He wishes he was here. He wrote us today, and he said how much he enjoyed working on the show. So anyway, so then when we
Shout out to Joe.
Shout out to
Love you,
Joe.
Love you, man.
So when we hired Joe, a second Joe, we had to call him 2.0. Now Joe does lighting and rendering, and he helps with Ryan and Corey. Corey's not here. Corey is our texture artist who did all the environments. lit the environments, but then once Joe started with us, he was able to kind of augment on that. So if you can kind of give everybody an idea of what
Sure.
you did.
What I did is I was a set lighter, so what I did was I actually had the sets that I had to actually kind of match the lighting of what the Halo machinima part would be.
Right.
When I first got here, I was put on the actual set where we actually had the enemy base. They go, go ahead and work on that. And I'm like, okay. So we started working on that. This is one from the PAX.
Yes, right. That's
I came in a week after PAX came in,
Right.
so they're like, oh, here you go. And everyone's working 24/7. I'm like, oh my God, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
And so they pretty much let me go on the set lighting, and working with Ryan, of course, got my back the whole time. I was doing some of the lighting sets and stuff, and came up with the concept lighting for the locker rooms.
Right. The mess hall?
Mess halls, lecture hall,
Right.
training center.
Yeah, the classroom, right?
Classroom, yeah, and a whole bunch of stuff like that. He said he had to get the render time down, and
You helped with that. I know you did.
we helped. We did a lot with that. Me and Ryan going back and forth with that sort of thing, and it was like, I need this pass. He's like, well, we don't have the time. It's like we still need it, and like it's a lot of give and take.
Yes, it is. Collaboration.
So yeah, definitely. And so he's like, okay, you can have this, but you can't have this. And I'm like, all right, I can work around it. So what we did is I got the look for the lighting, and I sent it to Kathleen and Matt for approval, and they're like, looks great. And I'm like, for me, that's unusual. Like on the first try, that looks great. Really, you don't need any improvements. And I'm like, I'm going to improve it anyway. So I'd go in there, and then Ryan's like, this is taking too long. I'm like, okay. So me and Ryan would actually rework it and make it, streamline it with Joe, Vintage Joe.
Nice.
And we get the render times down, hopefully, and get it right, and some of the limited passes that we had to use to make it look the way we
Look
looked.
fantastic. Do you have a question?
So how long did it take to make the light match, basically, in every episode?
Actually, the smaller sets took longer than the bigger ones. Inside the back end of the Pelican took, I'd say it was actually lit before I got here, and I had to relight it. So that took about 8 to 10 hours, and then sometimes it would take me about 17 hours, a full day to do it. And as I was rendering, setting up passes on the farm, I was lighting it too. So it kind of took a little bit of time to do that, but to get it the way I wanted to look with the streamlining that we had to do, that's the look that we came up with.
Yeah. And you know, I have to say, we were really lucky because there's a difference in creating lighting and textures for game play and for animation. Because we render things in a game, you don't have that. So again, with the lighting, you know, we were lucky to come across people like Joe and Ryan and Corey who got the idea and understood the concept. And I think that's probably one of the things that you brought to the table. You brought that, your experience to be able to make that look,
Right.
Really
Working on other games such as EA, Epic Mickey, and also working in the movie industry and episodals for the history. I hate plugging stuff.
That's okay. Yeah, well, it's good to hear what you've done. Yeah, no, it's good.
But the way we did this episode is it was a hybrid between the two.
Yes.
So what we had to do was we had to actually like marry the two together. So coming from those backgrounds, actually, that's actually helped me a lot to get the look that we wanted to look.
Yeah. And I think you guys have seen the outcome of that. So I think if you have any questions for Joe 2.0, let us know. But thank you. Thank you.
I saw a ton of how do you feel about Joe the Cat questions.
How do you feel about Joe the Cat questions?
I actually haven't gotten any.
Yeah.
So
He didn't meet any. He didn't meet Joe the Cat. Joe the Cat's on the other side of this. Yeah. Joe 3.0, right, there you go.
Yeah. I was behind the screen, not in front of it, so Joe the Cat's unfortunately more popular than me at this point. But
he's probably the beta.
okay, so Joe the Cat's beta?
All right, well, cool, thank you. And I'm gonna see about, let's see if I can get my compositors over here. I've got a couple people.
Great.
I'll get it.
Okay, I have the honor of introducing Ray. Ray, I always want to say Marshall because that's what I think isn't that what
No. So that's just part of the online handle that I use.
Oh, the online handle, okay. Gray worked with, in season 9. Gray has known the guys, and I think you can give your background a little bit better than I can as far as how you worked with the guys from RVB in the past.
Yeah.
But my experience this year has been, this is probably one of the most professional, organized, well put together artists, has amazing experience. And so compositing, you know, we were kind of doing it a little bit different this year. We did it in Maya and rendered, and so there's a whole different pipeline. Who he he acclimated, but I'm gonna let you talk about that because I mean, you brought a lot to the table.
Sure. I guess you're talking about season 9. I came in halfway through last year when they decided they needed another a visual effects and compositing person. I'm going to apologize if I'm coming across as a little loopy.
He's
tonight.
been awake for the last 2 months, pretty much straight. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, started with compositing and visual effects last year. My very first scene ever was the training scene in episode 10 where the pink, the gumball shooters, as we would call it. But
oh, right.
so yeah, got introduced to the gang last year, and that went great. Did a couple of odd jobs in between, and then had the honor of getting invited back to come work as one of the lead compositors and visual effects artists on season 10. So that's what we've been up to ever since springtime.
And something too, this year we had a studio that helped us do the facial animation. And so what Gray was able to do is direct live action reference for these sequences. And a couple of them that you'll recognize will be the mess hall, where York and North are talking, and there's Theta and Wash. But why don't you talk about the live action stuff?
You'll see some. There's going to be some fun stuff on the DVD. We could tease them with posting some stills on the website or something.
Oh,
at
definitely.
time.
Yes,
But
yeah.
I think you'll be amused to learn who played or who were the motion references for certain characters this year. Where so we had another team that we were using to do lip sync and facial animation and so forth, and helped us with some of the blocking. But we would need to send them some sort of previs, and for example, kind of like how Miles does some of the storyboarding by sketching stuff out, or we do rough computer animation and then go back and polish it later. There were some sequences where it was kind of just more efficient to grab a camera and shoot the whole thing live. So we would walk around the office and see what staff and cast members happened to be available that afternoon and hand them a script and shoot the scene like we were shooting a live action production. We would edit that down and use that as the reference for the animated scene. So.
And I think we got a question over here.
How long have you been working in animation, and what is your favorite? Who is your favorite character in RBC? And what are you drinking?
We'll pop this off the stack. What I'm drinking right now is a fairly obnoxious combination of Diet Mountain Dew and one of the clear alcohols I found out. Favorite character, I love them all. I've been really fond of Tex this season. But I've been bonding with Wash a lot lately.
Yes, I
love how things have been
about
going
Georgia?
down. Right. Georgia and Utah and Jersey and right. Yeah, the first question was how long have I been working on animation? My involvement in animation has kind of been on and off over the last few years. Really, it's been coming up on 5-ish years of more on the live action production, motion graphics, visual effects, pretty much working as a one-man band for a little while, so I kind of had to learn the whole pipeline, and then working my way up to gigs like this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And Gray will be on. Barbara?
Did you have to animate the Mother of Invention and other ships from scratch, or did you pull them from the games?
Did you want to?
Yeah, Mother of Invention. We actually had a gentleman in the UK who modeled, textured, and did all the animation for the exterior shots with the Mother Invention, and he was amazing. Now, of course, we had to send these assets. He had these assets sent to us, and of course, then Gray had to composite and work on that. So I mean, expand on that.
Sure. Gentlemen, you can look him up under the name of Free Space online. He did I can't remember what his first big. What was the CG movie that Free Space did?
StarCraft. Oh,
Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a StarCraft movie
On
by
YouTube?
Free Space on YouTube. Go look it up.
Amazing.
That was his work. That's how we found him. And Matt and company invited him in to tackle some of the exterior space shots this year. And from there, we took his assets and kind of blended them with the freelancers and just kind of make it all look like it was all part of the same scene.
And Rich Mason.
So.
Rich Mason was another artist that we had from the UK who actually was the person that gave us not gave us, but I mean, he actually made the Mother Invention.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he modeled, and so, yeah, it's...
2 more questions.
Sure.
Sure.
First one, what is the hardest character to make in animation? Which character is the hardest?
The hardest character to make an animation for our show?
They're all wearing variants of the same armor. I'm gonna let
Right.
one of the other guys.
I mean, the reality is this: in our show, we had a lot of the assets come from Microsoft, but then we had to make the director, we had to make counselor, and we had to model a lot of the different things and the faces and things like that. So I think for our team, it had to be kind of up-resing the characters from Halo, and making them able to look fantastic in the animation world because they all had to be redone. We couldn't just take the gameplay and put it into Maya. So
I would say it's pretty much any character without the armor on.
Yeah.
We really get into a rhythm dealing with the Spartan armor. It's whenever one of the characters takes the helmet off, or if it's just one of the characters out of uniform, that those are a real treat to sell in the scene, and also and keep their animation cleaner and so forth.
Right. And I think now, because we have about 20 minutes, and I want to make
sure to reveal his shirt. Everybody's been
Oh.
asking.
Yes,
His
everybody
shirt.
has been asking
Everybody,
what
I
shirt.
said at the very end of your
Can we get this?
Da-da-da-da-da.
This is kind of a
Open up more.
for the love.
He's
of
actually not
There you
wearing
go.
Create some music here. So yeah, this is kind of a Alphonse Mucha-esque Jean Grey. So
All right.
And
Well,
with
next up,
thanks everybody.
thank you, Gray.
We got to get back to work. We're still taking
Yeah,
notes.
we're still doing stuff. But next up is Carrie. Carrie Shawcross. Carrie has been with the guys. Sherry Shawcross. Yeah.
K-Monster.
There you go. There he goes. Oh, and he's in his pajamas. No, not today. Okay.
Oh, God.
He doesn't have pants on under that.
Carrie, I'm going to tell you right now, Carrie is probably one of the youngest of our group, but he's been with Rooster Teeth how long?
2 years
2
now.
years.
Dragon face.
Dragon face.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Carrie is, I'm like the mom here. So Carrie has kind of become my adopted son. And and I watch out for him immensely. However, this young man is probably one of the most talented people here and wears so many hats. He was the research and development behind Sigma when we first came on board, and he was working on that and all the AIs that you see. And he is the first person to say, hey, I will do that. I'll learn that software and I'll make it happen. And so in this industry, that's something that is highly, highly appreciated and recognized. And so I don't know even what to ask you because you're so involved in everything. It's like, I don't know. I mean,
How
give
did
me.
you get started?
Yeah, that's a good, there you go.
I started as a summer intern 2 years ago now, and just kind of decided to do it and just like do stuff and learn stuff. And well, now you really know how I got my job.
You know what's funny? And I want to say something. I want to say, when I first met Carrie, I have to remember now. When I did first meet Carrie was just like this. He was just like, hi, how are you? Yes, okay, blah, 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 blah. And then I come back, and he's all like, hey, Kathleen, this is how it works here. This is what we do. This is how it's going to go down, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wow, you are a feisty young man, aren't you? But
I probably had slack.
But you know what? You have grown so much since I've known you.
Unfortunately, not actually vertically.
Oh, well, yeah.
But we'll get there.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I didn't know.
No, I know. No.
But anyways,
Caffeine costs calories.
No, that's true. That's true.
unfortunately.
But no, you know what? There's a lot of young people out there that would love to know what you did to become successful in what you're doing, because you are successful.
I think probably the biggest advice I have is just if you want to do something, go learn it. The internet is a great tool. YouTube is a great tool. There's tons of sites. If there's nothing that says you can't do something. All you got to do is just go out there and figure out how to do it.
That's the
and
message.
not sleep for a couple days or whatever. Just get it done. And if you put in the effort, it'll be returned to you.
And you've been, you know what? And you're humble, you're respectful, and you have good manners. And I think that's something that's really important. Honestly, I mean, Carrie, even when he's sleeping, and he sleeps here a lot. I come in the morning, and as I walk up to my office, there's a couch, and I'll see Carrie's little body with his little, funky pajama bottoms asleep, and but it's endearing. I mean, this is hard work. This is loyalty. This is love for a project. So, I mean, I know everybody loves Carrie. Questions though? We got.
How did you go from working in the live action department to Red vs. Blue?
I begged for him, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's when you work here, you kind of wear a lot of hats, like we talked about. and other things. So it was one of those things where when RVB is in this off season, then we're working on other stuff. So when I got hired, I was working on RVB, and then when it came time to live action, well, they need somebody to hold a boom pole, they need somebody to do the slates, and I started doing that. And then when RVB came back around, it was time to move over back to that. So I kind of moved to projects when they need people.
When they need it. And you know what's nice about it too? Carrie is,
Okay.
yeah. Oh.
And Miles has been requested over
Yes,
over
well,
time.
we're going to talk to him.
What games are you currently playing right now?
I'm playing the game of RVB Season 10. I've been trying to play Officer's Wrath, but I haven't had a lot of time. I'm also playing Skyrim still. So,
No
video games.
Minecraft? No Minecraft?
Oh, of course Minecraft.
Okay.
Always Minecraft. That's a staple.
Okay.
So.
All right. And we're still not finished.
Hey, Miles, they want you to move in
Yeah.
frame.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think what we'll do, we'll talk about machinima, and I'm going to keep Carrie here too, because in the beginning, Carrie was really working on the machinima part of it with Bernie, and then as things kind of switched and people changed around, and I said I really want to have Carrie on the RVB animation side and compositing and doing R&D more. Miles stepped up. Now Miles, who's over here, completely exhausted. Yeah, there you go. Miles actually has stepped up, and he has written so much of the machinima that you've seen in season 10, a whole episode, which was episode 12?
Yep.
Yes, episode 12.
Yeah.
Miles wrote. He did all the machinima. He did all the visual effects. Right behind me. I mean, he's working right behind me when I'm working. But this young man, again, here you have again, here's the theme, is a hardworking person that is, wears many hats. And,
I don't know why I thought you meant literally. I was like, I've never worn a hat in the office in my life. I have a hoodie, but that's not a hat.
And he's very tired, just so you know. But anyways,
Yeah.
but Miles, here's the thing. Please tell these, there's a lot of young people out there that would love to know
You made her right.
that how you did it, what you did, how you started, and how you just started here. So give them a little insight into that.
I watched a lot of Red versus Blue. That's definitely the most difficult part of the whole process, is that you have to watch a lot of the show. Hey, I don't know. I essentially just did what you should do for absolutely any situation, which is put yourself out there.
Right? You were an intern here first?
Yeah, I was an intern.
Yeah.
I was I was friends with Brandon from TSTV. He was the station manager when I was producing a show called Video Game Hour Live, and I also started a machinima show called The Noob Corner, which is not funny and not good at all.
Don't look it up.
So you can if anybody ever tells you that you suck at something, just keep practicing and then come back a few years later and be like, you suck at something. Anyways.
We got questions over here though.
Oh, we have questions over there? Oh, okay.
Your favorite character to write?
A favorite character to write for? Oh my god. I love Sarge, but he's one of the hardest people to write for, just because so much of Sarge is Matt. Like, he'll just say the most outrageous. I don't know. Like, he just can't.
But then again, but you did. We had to do some temp lines, and Miles did the temp lines for Sarge.
Oh, hey, what's up?
I'm bringing Kyle up. Kyle was brought on board to do machinima, and he again another person that's just kind of really they're girlfriend. But no, another person who has really worked hard to excel.
Yeah.
And I think, amazingly enough, like now you're directing. You're doing your own stuff. Miles is giving you a little bit of input, and you guys are off and running. So.
Exactly.
Give me a little bit, give them a little bit insight to
Sit on my
how
lap.
you guys work.
I'm just kidding.
Do you want me to? I could. Not for the kids.
But stay here, Miles.
Maybe later. I'm gonna sit on the scooter.
Okay.
Yeah, so
No one can stop
give
me.
them your background, please, and so that they know kind of where you came from and
Well, I'm classmates with Miles from the University of Texas, and I worked with him on Video Game Hour Live, and I actually knew Brandon. My first semester here was his last semester as station manager.
Okay.
So there's something there. And I was an intern for Rooster Teeth last year during season 9.
I remember that.
So I just did whatever they told me. Like one time they said edit sound for this episode, so I did the first pass for audio, and like I put in Sheila the Tank's target locked sound effect for that episode and all that. But yeah, coming back, like I graduated in May, and I came back. I was like, hey Brandon, is there any contract work you want me to do? Actually, Miles was the first one who contacted me earlier in the summer, and he's like, hey, we got some content, can you come in and do that? I was like, sup girl, what you doing?
Yeah.
It was exactly
RVB's
like
coming
that.
up.
It was
It's gonna be
exactly
big.
that.
It was
I heard
exactly
it.
that.
Yeah.
But I did that for a while, and then August came around, and I was like, originally I was supposed to move out to LA, but then that didn't, happen the way it was supposed to. So I was like, hey, Brandon, I need some work.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've got you covered. So I ended up doing rough cuts of some of the behind the scenes
That's right.
for the DVD.
Yeah, that's right.
And I just kind of came in and kept doing that. Then he's like, hey, I want you to, actually, do this package to completion. So I did that, and then he's like, great, we finished all this work. Now go do cut lines for Miles. So I cut the dialogue for each episode.
Yeah.
And then eventually Miles was like, hey, I need some help with this machinima. And I had done machinima before, like a little bit last year as an intern.
Yep.
During the Blip party.
Yeah, the South by
South by
the
Southwest.
Blip by
That's
Blip
right,
West.
yeah.
That
Yeah,
was,
when we did
right.
live
that
action
went over
machinima.
super smoothly,
Yeah.
and there were no problems whatsoever.
Absolutely not. Yeah, and I did that. So.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to say another thing. You've got a lot of talent behind me that when you have a passion for something and you're given the opportunity, you make the best of it. And that's what these young men have done. And so again, you all can do that kind of thing. It's kind of like, when you're asked to do something, you're definitely going to want to just take that challenge. And we have a question.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Barbara.
What was the most difficult scene to machinimate?
What was the most difficult scene to machinimate?
Absolutely, hands down. It was absolutely hands down. It was all of episode 12. Every single shot that takes place on Relic, the island where York died, was a incredibly long process that involved multiple pieces of software. It involved green screens. It involved Photoshop. It was.
That's actually how I started helping you out more, because I was like, we took the same After Effects class, and I'm like, hey, I can do this, and he's like, great, jump on. And Kathleen's like, you got all overtime's approved, go for it. So I jumped on that.
And Kathleen told me, haha, you're Sally, you fool. We got you. We got you.
Get your pajamas, sucker!
So Carrie and I totally started with pajama trend. But yeah, no, absolutely, all the stuff for Relic, and any scene where it's not just like
two characters,
typical like jokes. Like if there's ever a moment where you have to make somebody laugh or somebody look like they're thinking about something, my favorite person to machinimate with is Agent Carolina, because of her visor. If you look up, she suddenly has a surprised or a sad or an understanding look. If you aim her head down, bitch is pissed off. Like she's sinister.
I saw that today.
Yeah, Carolina's my favorite person.
You can actually emote with Carolina.
Yeah, and then Caboose is great because he's just like blank face. So like, yeah, he's.
Where's your glass?
Oh, my Bane voice.
That's
Bane
my
voice
favorite. Go get it just before we leave.
I'll do it for the people.
Do it for the people.
I will do it for the people.
Okay, because up next I have Monty and Shane. So you gotta get Yes.
Can I just say that the episode tonight, I actually directed all on my own?
Yes.
Yes, he did. Yes. Kyle did amazing work.
Fun.
So.
And with that, we must go.
Yeah. Get your Bane thing though. All right. So I got Monty Oman. I got here. Come over here. And we got Shane. And now these two, of course you know Monty from the past episodes, starting with season 8, and the most amazing fight scene with Tex and all the guys, and the balls. And then Shane, and I'm gonna let them talk about how actually we came about getting Shane, because Shane had contacted Monty and kind of utilized him as a mentor. So what do you, tell them the story behind that.
How did that happen?
Oh my God, and they're both soft-spoken people, so I'm gonna be like, come on!
Was it MySpace? Did you contact me on MySpace? Shane had to like track me down because I get like a million messages.
Yeah.
And he messaged me on MySpace. I'm like, okay, this guy doesn't look like a weirdo. He's wrong.
Yeah.
And just wants to find some advice about how to do stuff. And I gave him a few tips and pointers. And man, there was one really, I guess it could be weird. It's borderline weird, where his wife for his birthday bought him a ticket to come work under me. So he came into the studio. This was like 2 years ago.
Right.
And his birthday present was to come and fly here to just have me show him a few things and stuff, right? And he was working on a project. And he showed some progression on that. And then well, we were like a few months into RVB 10, and he just sent his resume. I would have suggested it had I been in the right state of mind at any point.
And we found out.
And then Kathleen's like, "Hey, you hear this guy named Shane?" I'm like, "Yes, that guy."
Yeah. And what's funny is Shane's a very soft-spoken person, if you couldn't tell. And so Matt and I did conference calls and to interview him, and we were like, "Hey, we really like your stuff," and it'd be silent, and they'd be like, "Okay." And we're thinking about, we'd love to have you on RVB. Really? Yeah, and I'm like, is he excited or does he not care?
Shane's personality comes out in the deleted scenes.
Yeah, which you'll see. So, but no, honestly, so the two you guys, I mean, these guys have choreographed most of the fight scenes, all of the fight scenes actually.
They want to know their favorite fight scenes.
Favorites? Okay, but remember, no spoilers.
Favorite fight scene so far.
Favorite fight scene so far.
God, there's so much better to come, but okay, come on.
It hasn't been seen.
Hasn't been seen yet?
I know.
That has been seen. I don't know. I'd still go back to episode 10, season 8, the text fight.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's like the best. Okay, probably of season 10. They want to know of season 10 though. So
Gravity fight was fun.
That was good.
I crapped that one out really fast.
Did you say you crapped that one out?
There's a lot of demand. We have to deliver really fast.
Yeah, we do deliver fast.
The longshore stuff was crazy.
Yep.
Knife fight.
How about
knife fight.
like your best fighting character and your best moment? Like Shane, like what is your best moment? What is the best scene where you just went, oh my God, this is really good. It's gonna be so cool when it's delivered, and we see it.
I think it got cut.
Don't say that.
No, he animated Blue in the killing the turret guys.
Oh,
Everyone loved that.
Yeah.
Most of it got cut though.
Wow, we got like how many minutes, Adam? Like 2 minutes?
Because most people watching aren't sponsored, so they can't see the episode yet.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, then we can really, so we can follow it.
We actually got, 2 hours?
We should watch the episode and put all the lock on the screen. Watch it live.
Okay, so let's go back to the question then. Let's talk about, like, as far as the fight scenes and the sequences and things like that.
Can we act out the episode?
People wanted to know, have either one of y'all ever gotten hurt doing mocap? And
that's a great question.
If so, what happened? Can we repeat that question again?
Okay, has anybody gotten hurt while working in the motion capture? Now, when I first started, I can't turn the camera, but to your over there's a really big fluffy, what would you call that?
It's a big mat.
Yeah, it's a mat. But then there's a gymnastic mat and there's also like a springboard because they had pretty much nothing. But the episode where the character goes over the chair.
Yeah, first
episode.
Yeah.
The opening episode. That was me kicking the chair into him. Which I had to make it authentic. In the early fights, like we did the longshore thing, that part where Carolina, she runs out the back of the Pelican and she does the vault to the vertical jump downwards. I ran from the back of the studio to the front of the studio at full speed into my desk just to get 3 frames. I hit my knee really bad. It wasn't worth it.
No, and some of the outtakes you'll see where Shane was like kind of wounded in the chair scene. Barbara?
Hopefully.
How did you guys do the movements for the vehicles?
Get in all fours.
Bring the frame.
Oh, really fast.
Yeah, bring the frame in. While that's going on, how many cameras does Monty have for mocap?
Wow, let's look around. Let's count them.
Repeat that.
We have.
How many cameras do we have for Monty's mocap?
8 times 3.
We have 24 cameras.
24 cameras.
Which is the maximum this setup will allow.
Yeah, back put this in front. Good.
We have a Pelican dropship coming through.
There we go. This is our set for the Pelican.
And the Warthog.
And the Warthog. And so these guys put their mocap outfits on and they sit down, and this gives everything perspective-wise. And then, of course, all of us really nerdy people just sit and play with it a lot of the time. But anyways, and then also when there's running, we have treadmills, and when there's pulling up, we have more gymnastic kind of equipment.
When Carolina was standing on top of the Warthog at the end of season 9, I was too lazy to go get a table, so I just stood on top of this. But as you can tell, this thing isn't very stable, so it sucked.
So we have about 4 different mocap outfits for the different sized animators. I mean that in a nice way. Nobody's fat, but anyways, like tall, medium, large, whatever, small, whatever. And so I would say, raise your hand, guys. How many of you guys have put the mocap suits on and mocap for us? There you go. And oh, we actually, I want to introduce Jeff. Jeff, raise your hand. Yes, Jeff. Okay, Jeff just woke up because he is, again, one of our renderers, compositors, lighters extraordinaire. And so I'm glad that you joined us because I was afraid you were going to miss it. I heard you were sleeping. But he was up this morning. I was here about 4 a.m. He was still here, and I know that he worked all the way into the morning. So, Jeff, you want to give a call out? And,
hey, it's glad to be here.
Jeff also came to us through Joe Kaiser, right? Yeah. So Joe, one of our original technical directors, gave us. Joe. Did I say Joel?
No, I said Big Joe.
Oh, okay, Big Joe, yeah. Joe Vintage. Questions?
You might want to mention that we had some ladies on.
Oh my God, of course, thank you. Okay. You know what, here's what's tough. There's a lot of people that have kind of moved on. We have, one of our animators is Harley Schwartz. Harley! And Harley did motion capture, and she did a lot of the scenes with Carolina. She really had the women and text. She had the women and animation down. It was really great to have her. She's in Los Angeles now. And then Taylor. Taylor is one of our texture artists, and she was fantastic. She did modeling for some of the props, textures for a lot of the props, a lot of the warthog and things like that. I mean, she was fantastic. Corey Day, our environment artist. He's not here with us right now. He's in Dallas with his family, but we love him, and he was fantastic. Who's not here? Because I do want to shout out to all the people that aren't here. Michael is one. Kaywood is one of the first people that started talking about the pipeline, and he's in New York. Can we move this now? Because I feel like I'm an old lady from Pasadena. Did you ever? Driving Miss Daisy. And then, of course, Matt Cullum, he's upstairs still working. And I would love for him to come down and be introduced and talk about, he's directing and he does so much here. And Bernie Burns, of course, you saw him giving a big old lip lock to Carrie. And he did, writing and being so supportive with all the machinima. Who else are we missing from Martin? Who? I already gave Corey a shout out. Question? Yeah.
I have a question for everyone. And this is one of the ones from earlier on the chat. Someone said that what is different about working on Red versus Blue, since you guys are so dedicated and motivated and you're here all night working and a lot of other projects you would have the same dedication. So what's different about working on Red versus Blue and for Rooster Teeth and any other company?
Any other job? Here's a good question. What's different about working for Rooster Teeth and working 24/7 and coming here and sleeping here than working in any other job?
It's a lifestyle.
And I think that honestly, I want to do it one at a time. I don't want to do it like everybody at one time. But honestly, give it like a couple line answer, Monty, and we'll just go through everybody.
Everything. I work every day. I live across the street. Like when I mean literally every day, I mean literally every day. I'm here.
He's here every day.
I'm here every minute. I'm not sleeping or in the shower.
Every day.
We're done, and I'm still not done.
No.
Because I'm already moving on to the next project. Yeah.
Perfect. Shane, give us your.
It's hard to burn out because it's fun.
It's hard to burn out because it's
enjoyable
fun.
hard work.
Yeah. I like that. Kyle?
It's just, I don't have anything to go off of because it's my first real job, but it's just a lot of fun to do something creative. I could be working at a car wash, telling people what kind of car wash you want. But it's worth it, and it's just something I would do for free. Not that I would do it for free.
Note to self, Kyle will work for free.
But it's a lot.
I understand that.
That kind of enjoyment.
I love Austin.
I was a young man once.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Were you born in
No, really, it's like I said earlier, it's a lifestyle. You go to sleep, you wake up, go back to work, you go to sleep, and get back to it's done.
Because even though you're working, like it's like you're not really working. You're working, but you're doing something you love.
Right.
So everyone's so great. Like
But
it's a labor of love. Exactly.
Labor of love. Jeff, what would you say?
You know, it's really so carefree. You know, you got same deadlines and you're working, you know, really at a run, like at a fast sprint the whole time, and then you just fall over and you get back up and you do it again. But you don't realize it. You're just having so much fun the whole time. You know?
Yeah. Brad?
What's special here than anywhere else?
Yeah.
Everybody here, like the whole collab, you know, we're all like family. We're all like family, you know, and just the creative freedom that you have, you know, like in some of the shots, we all work off each other and get it done. Everybody here certifiably wacko, but professional.
I like that. Certifiably wacko. That's on my business card. How about 2.0?
Egoless. There's no one with egos here. You have an issue or something, or we have fun too at the same time. You can see around the set, people throwing darts. We're doing it. Me and Shane have wars all the time. We have like shields up. We're like pulling in between renders. He's throwing stuff at her, throwing at him with motion cap. It's very relaxed, but we get our work done, and it's very egoless. That's the big difference between here and there.
Christopher.
All those things.
All
the things.
All the things.
And I think I gotta say, it probably what's been for me as a producer, I do not allow negativity to enter into the workspace, because when you have that, it kills a production. And so I would consistently keep people optimistic and understanding that, you know, we're gonna get this done. It's gonna be the best thing that you've ever had an opportunity to do. When you hire up for a job, you do it because you want to work hard, and all these people signed up for that. And so I think that's probably one of the most respected thing that I have to say about our group is they're hardworking. And we got a question.
There are two final things. First of all, is what is the longest amount of time span that y'all have worked on one episode? And that being said, was that the most difficult episode y'all have worked on so far? And if not, which one was the most difficult?
Okay, the question was, what was the longest that we worked on one episode, and which one was it? And I think that, you know, when we first started, when you start a new pipeline in any kind of creative outlet, the beginning process takes so long because people are getting familiar with the softwares and what they're doing and each other. So when we first started, we had to quickly put together for PAX East. It was almost pretty much one of the episodes, and so, you know, everybody was working on it.
It was a lot harder then because there wasn't as many of us.
Yeah, and there
like,
was
we had all just started, so it was like kind of like trial by fire. Like, hey, here's this thing, do it. Here's 5 minutes animation, do it.
Exactly.
And it was like, do it.
And unfortunately, that's how it goes. You know, I mean, in the pipeline, it's like the constraints of budget and talent and, you know, timeline all has to be prepared. So I think honestly that was probably the hardest that everybody had to put in, and it was only because it was brand new and we were, you know, I mean, had we done what we did at the end back then, right? Yeah. I think we all would have been like,
that was like, we had to figure everything out.
We had to figure everything out.
Now
so
we could have done that and had time twice.
Yeah. Now, I mean, can I tell you guys, these guys are cruising so fast. I mean, it makes Hollywood look pretty bad because it's amazing how quickly these guys are working with the talent. Yeah. Last thing, yeah.
Last thing, everybody has been overwhelmingly responsive and saying thank you guys so much for everything. Any people saying episode 14 is awesome. They've already seen it.
Oh, yes. All right.
Everybody keeps telling all of us to let y'all know how
all right.
awesome you are.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. It sounds like it's time. We're going to have to close this up. Episode 14, for you, those of you who've seen it, thank you, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. And for everybody else, you know, be excited. Be excited about all these people. They did a fantastic job, and you still have through November 6th to watch the rest of Red vs. Blue 10. Thanks, guys. And our Gangnam Style. Nice work, guys. Nice one. All right.
I got it. Wait, I got it. Who the fuck gave you that? Somebody. Yeah. It took me all weekend to figure out that.
The dance? Down.
All right. Where's the after party?
Yeah, right here, babe.
After party. I gotta go finish work. Well, we don't work anymore. We can